Hey, hello world. Welcome to the D&D Beyond Dev Update. I'm Joe. I'm the head content lad here at Phantom Tabletop and D&D Beyond. I'm joined by Melly, our community manager. Hello, Melly.
Hi, Joe. How's it going today?
It's good. Sarah's here too. She's got things to say. She's got thoughts. Today, it's Candlekeep Mysteries Week, baby. So I thought it would be cool to bring someone on to talk a little bit about like how we actually as they might say in school. Oh my God, stop. As they might say in Schoolhouse Rock, take a book to beyond. It won't be in song, unfortunately, but we're going to bring on Faith Lilley, who's one of our content specialists, who she focuses in book content. I focus in clown content. They're different, separate contents, both in one organization. But she's going to be talking a little bit about how we bring in books, the sort of dispelling the myth that a lot of detractors, I think, of the tool set have. And they're like, oh, so I got to pay extra for a PDF? It's not a PDF. Shame on you. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that, obviously giving you a roadmap of what's coming up, and then we'll answer your questions. And if you pay very careful attention to the images in the slides today, you will catch on to a very fun theme. All right, Melly, you ready to do this?
Yeah, I think I'm ready to do this. I'm very curious about this theme that we have going on, so I feel like I also need to pay attention.
It's subtle. That's it. Also, I think Melly, just as a heads up, Stream Heroes not working, right?
That's correct. Our stream heroes are still on break. They're taking an extended rest, so they're doing kind of some rest and relaxation tasks and quests. But we do have questions going, so go ahead and drop those in chat. Mods will be gathering them, and we're gonna get those answered for you as best we can with our expert guest.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, coming soon. Let's look at this roadmap. Stuff that's nowish. Spell management on the Android DDB Player app, and also Candlekeep Mysteries. I don't know if I've mentioned this, available for purchase on the D&D Beyond Marketplace. Make sure you go pick it up. It is a fantastic book. We've been talking about it all week. We'll be talking a little later today with Daniel Kwan about his adventure, so I'm super stoked about that. Soon on the map, spell management on the iOS DDB Player app. So it takes a little bit more time, but there's a few more bells and whistles and obstacles you have to solve, quests you need to undertake on the iOS side for apps. So that just a couple week delay in between the two operating systems. And then finally, we're getting a life, Melly. It's coming. Full support of the Life Domain Cleric.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm personally getting a life. I feel like I just live in this box and this box alone. But as a whole, as a group of people, D&D Beyond, we're gonna get a life.
The important thing is, yeah, as we exist in these boxes, we will have fixed Disciple of Life clerics, Blessed Healer, supported, Divine Strike, supported. Good berries supported. Everything's going to scale properly as you level up. It's going to be great. You guys are going to love it. We're going to the story of getting there is actually pretty interesting. So when that drops, we're going to have Pat back on to give some context for why this was so gosh dang hard, because it is surprisingly so, because I, like a lot of the audience, was like, why is this so hard? And then it was explained to me and my brain sort of melted just a little bit. Yeah. But that said, that's coming soon. Soonish. We'll be rolling on monster stat blocks. We've got a Twitch extension update coming, and then some really solid app updates coming for the D&D Beyond app. That's coming soonish. And then beyond soonish, some crazy stuff. Melly, that's all I'll say. There's some wild stuff coming.
There's some wild stuff coming. I think 2021 is gonna be like a year to remember.
That's all I'm saying.
D&D Beyond.
That's all I'm saying. Nothing else. Nothing. Just some wild stuff we've been privy to, and my eyes went, oh. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all we're gonna say. That's beyond soonish, but it's gonna be a good year. It's gonna be a really, really good year. Let's. Hey, Melly, I know you're very excited to bring Faith in here. It's about time that this audience met her. She's an incredible member of this team. I believe her her specific role, content specialist. So we want to, Melly, you do the honors. Introduce Faith to the people. Bring her on camera.
Yeah, we are bringing you Faith Elizabeth Lilley today. Hello, Faith. Faith is such an incredible person. One of the first people I started working with here at D&D Beyond. She is an expert in the site itself. She's grown with it, and she can answer so many things about how we get these books into a way that is awesome and cool for all of you. Hi, Faith. I love you. Welcome to the Dev Update.
Welcome to the Dev Update, Faith.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Melly. I'm super happy to be here. This is awesome. So, yeah. Hey, you talking about Life Domain Collect? I'm talking about being a content specialist. We only have one content specialist, so it's the content specialist.
Oh, I apologize. The content specialist. Oh, my bad. Well, tell me this. How long have you been the content specialist at D&D Beyond? Tell us a little bit about Faith.
So technically since December last year, but actually I've been working with the team since March 2017 when the site went into beta. So yeah, I started off as volunteering as a moderator, and somewhere along the way I picked up how to do all the things, and everybody's like, hey, so can you answer me this about Dungeons and Dragons? How does this work? How's these rules work? Wait, how do we make our system do this? And here I am.
I do, in my short time so far, I do tend to see a lot of people say, like, what's this mean, or what's this rule? And someone tends to just be like, ask Faith. Faith will know. So yes, the content specialist, absolutely, very well earned. If you could like just generally sort of explain your job, like your day to day. I know part of it is just generally being one of our D&D experts, and it sort of involves content in the compendium pages. But for the people, walk us through it.
Yeah. So, well, our team is there's like Thomas, Elliot, and Adam, who also work with me on the game content team. And so I don't want to talk too much about what we do, all the files that we get from Wizards of the Coast and that side of things. It's very much Elliot's bag. My day to day, there's several things. One is figuring out how we're going to use the awesome tools that our devs build so that we can actually make all the really complicated subclasses, races, lineage, make all the spells work. So making sure all those get built, as well as the compendium pages and figuring out styling and making them all look really cool and making them accessible, which is really important to us.
Yeah, and we'll definitely get into that accessibility stuff here in a minute. I'd love to, and I know Elliot's not here to join us, but as we do have this book dropping this week, I'd love to get a little more into this idea of all the work that you guys go in, even just like a broad overview, because we can have Elliot come on soon to deep dive with us. Elliot, the DM of my office game, our shared office game. But I'd love to hear sort of just like a little bit of like, okay, we get the book from Wizards, and just sort of it's not just we're not slapping a PDF on the site and charging for it.
No. So I mean, that comes in many files, right? So one of my specific jobs is being an expert in Photoshop as well. So we take all of those art assets that they give us, and these D&D books that Wizards of the Coast produce, they've got some really beautiful art in it that we have to make sure that we do justice to. And actually putting those on a web page is nowhere near as simple as just sort of going, oh, but print done. So we build the frames that go on the page. So there's the background, the bit that sits behind the menu on the left, making sure that we put them on the page in a way that's actually going to work. But there's a technical side to it as well, which is making sure that all the images are like properly optimized and are going to work well with browsers. Making sure the maps have all got like a separate player version. So yeah, we've got an image on the stream there. So that's just showing one there. You can see this is Candlekeep Mysteries, and we've taken the cover art for the book and we've put it on the left, and then making sure that we use the same styling that Wizards of the Coast use in the book. We've put like that splotch detail all around it to fade it out, and then taken some of that gold filigree that they use somewhere else in the book and put that up the top right, just to make sure that the page actually looks nice and is a good experience to look at as well.
I love that. And
yeah, well, and you like do stuff not just on that part, like there's text box and all these other parts that you kind of take on styling to make books kind of have their own unique style, right?
For sure, yeah. So another big part of my job is this is all like built on HTML with CSS, which is cascading style sheets. It's the way that most of the internet's built, which defines how everything looks. So a lot of our books have a lot of the D&D books, they will have like these little blocks where rules text blocks, or a bit that you're supposed to read aloud as the DM, and they always have slightly different styles and colors in each of the books. And yeah, you can see one there, that's like a rules text box, we call that, at the top, that's got the rules in it. So we make sure that we match the colors, but make sure that we adjust them slightly so they work well on the site, add the styling so it looks visually the same as the actual D&D book you'll have in your hand if you've got the physical one. You can see there with these stat blocks, and that's something that's interesting. I personally have a philosophy that every book that we could build out should have an improvement on the previous one. I'm not personally okay with just doing the same as we've done before. We need to be better. We always need to be better. So just adding that texture so that it looks more like a monster stat block, putting just like a little bit of shadow around it so it pops out that little bit more. A lot of stuff like that.
Do you have anything on your wish list or like roadmap for things you want to? Wow, I'm walking you into a get in trouble question. Sorry, but are there things on your wish list and roadmap that you're like, I always wish that we could do this with the book? If you have any just like goals in the next year with like, I'd love for this look to be applied or for us to access them this way.
And I'm not saying whether this is something that we're going to do or anything, but I've always wanted us to be able to have moving images on the page.
I dig that quite a bit. Hey, pure speculation, baby, but I like it a lot. I think that would be that's a really, really cool goal to be able to push for. No, I dig that. I want to talk a little bit about accessibility with the books. That's a big part of what you do.
Yeah, so accessibility, we've just recently have lead engineer Dave, who you've met previously on these dev updates. He's formed an accessibility chapter, which shows just how important it is that we really embrace this. But it's something I've personally been pushing on with our team as well, that we must do, because we have a segment of our community who rely on D&D Beyond as a way of being able to play D&D when they can't actually access the game through a normal physical book. So they use screen readers. Now you can see on the screen here, we've got something from one of the pages in Candlekeep, and that looks really cool. That's designed to be a player handout. You can see the image on the right there, and it's got like fancy text, and and it really leans into this is what you actually found. But if you've got a screen reader, you need straight text, or even if the DM wants to be able to provide it in some separate manner to somebody else that they play with, you just need text. So we always strive to provide that as well and make sure that the page top to bottom works as well as it can with a screen reader.
I think that's awesome. I think that's just such a cool, like, extra little touch with what you guys are doing. Millie, do the people have any questions for Faith?
Yeah, we've got some questions coming. We also have a giveaway that we're going to go ahead and start. We got exclamation point, digital style. Go ahead. And I believe the mods are starting that giveaway. You can enter in the chat, win legendary bundle. I think we're giving away 2 today, so that's pretty amazing. Thank Faith for that. Thank Faith. Amazing person, Faith. Just giving you these legendary bundles personally. It's amazing. One of the questions that I'm seeing come up here, and I know you have beyond expertise with this, is the difference between the, official tools that we use when we're entering content, like races and classes and subclasses, compared to what people have access to with homebrew tools. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So when we first started doing this, it became very evident that it was not going to be okay for the devs to have to be entering this, and it was need for a separate team to do it. And there were people before I was even on the team who were responsible for doing that using forms, and they were as bare bones as needed to be to get the job done, because there was so much other development that was needed to be done on the site. Now, along the way, there was a lot of feedback from the community that we really needed the ability to deliver homebrew on the site, and people needed to be able to create their own content. And the only way to do that was to take the same forms that we use and effectively expose them so that the community can use them as well, with a few constraints around it. So we use the same forms in the same system. There are the odd little, there's things here and there, so we can assign them to specific books. And there's the odd field that really, if people had this, they would just be able to break everything. So we don't let them touch that, I'm afraid. But what you see on Homebrew is what I'm using to build stuff.
Yeah, and I can attest to that as well, because I was just like a user and I made homebrew, and then I started to become a moderator, and I got to kind of see some of that back end stuff, and I was like, hey, wait a second, this is exactly what I was doing before. Oh my gosh. So really, that's not an exaggeration, that these are the same tools. There's just some extra options that help us kind of create all of the things that we need. And that's another thing we kind of see is people are wondering, as far as, we've got these generic features, these boons, these dark secrets, these there's encounters and all of these things that we don't necessarily have in D&D Beyond yet. And people are asking, well, how can I help to do that? Or is that something that we're going to be doing? Is that something that you're involved with at all, Faith?
Yeah, so anytime we're talking about any of the features we're delivering, whether it be, the generic generic feature system, so that will give us blessings, boons, etc. Whether it be, I'm pretty sure we've talked about this, being able to roll the dice in the combat tracker and so forth. Or whether it be having actually all of the official encounters, the game content team are very central to that. So yeah, I'll have been in those meetings, and we'll be working away on making sure that that actually is delivered. So we have like a system where the devs, work with us to find out, hey, what do you actually need in terms of tools to make this happen? Then they go away and create those. We test it all, make sure it all works, and then we just fill it up with that content and make sure it's ready to go.
And we also, we have a few people who are, posting, hey, I've got like a display issue with this thing or that thing. And folks, the best place to go and let us know if you're facing an issue with anything on the site, head to our Discord, head to our forums, add us on socials, contact our support team. We will absolutely be able to help you figure out what's going on, or pass it on to the team members that need to see it. So go ahead and I'm sure that the mods will post some links in the chat of where you can find those spots.
Yeah, and I'll say, just as a bystander on our company Slack, I don't have any stake in this part of the business. I just make the clown stuff. But I will say that the moment you guys drop feedback into the Discord, into the forums, it's usually Faith, actually, Faith and a few others who are immediately just like lighting that up in our Slack and pushing that stuff along. So it's definitely not, falling into an empty pit.
Yeah, if I can just speak on that for a moment. So yeah, that feedback is massively valuable to us. So we're always looking to improve what we're doing, as I talked on earlier. And the only way we do that is by embracing the feedback. And it's not just people telling us, hey, this is awesome. We need to know when we've done something that you're not happy with, but we need to know details. We need to know what we could do to be better. And yeah, you'll find me on the forums and sometimes on Discord. Please don't ping me, because I often have a lot of work to do. So, might not be able to get back to you, but post on the forums, and even if I don't spot it, the moderators will usually bring it to my attention.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
weirdly, you know, just as like a feedback tip, as someone who has left feedback for things myself, oddly, if they're not in all caps and aren't like 60% you taking your day out on us, it's super helpful. It's like that feedback actually just somehow just gets like processed so much better. So write the angry, as my therapist says, write the angry email, then throw it away. Don't send it, and then write us the actual feedback that you want to give us, and use that energy to give us real details and insight. And Faith and is usually the one leading the charge on processing that stuff.
Yeah, Faith is really passionate about us making sure we're making the best product for everybody. And I mean, I love that as a community manager. That's really important to me as well. So like me and Faith are like BFFs. We want this place to be amazing, and everybody on the team does. And telling us, you know, what the issue is and how you'd like us to make it better, that's the best route you can go for us being able to actually improve that.
Hey,
Absolutely.
taking this 90 degrees, can I show you something? Because this thing that I've done in the past is like people come on and go like, hey, what's your geek cred, right? What is it that allows you to be doing this? Check this out. Genuine 90s X-Men t-shirt, because I love me some Marvel.
Did you, I mean, that's straight up bought out of a comic book page catalog, old school, isn't it?
No, that was from my local comic shop.
Nice.
Bought in like 1994, I think. 93 maybe.
Ooh, those like, yeah, I mean, that's like the pre-Jim Lee relaunch costumes. Very
yeah.
Sorry, now I'm just
I think
very
we
excited
got
about that
time.
shirt.
We got one more question, I think.
Thank you for getting me back on track.
Yeah, no worries. But I think this is something that, you know, we don't have a straight up answer for, but it's something that you can give a bit of insight to, Faith. You've talked about how, you know, there's some things we have access to that if other people did, it would break the sheet. And we have some people asking, homebrew classes, why is that one of those things? Is that something where, you know, hey, we want to make this, what are the limitations that you can see from your position on those kinds of things?
Wow, homebrew classes. So I could speak a bit about classes. So a little while back, Wizards of the Coast came up with this thing that you might have heard of called the Artificer, that we needed to be able to add to the site. And that fell on me to be able to create that. It was a week of work to make it all work properly using the forms. So
which I appreciate.
Yeah,
and
so I love that class.
I do too, but also to make it work, but also so that it doesn't crunch with everything, because classes touch like every part of the sheet.
So with the forms that we've got, we definitely have the capability to be able to build new classes on the system. And I also had to build the Blood Hunter as well when we added that. Yeah, that was best part of a week as well. So in terms of technical capacity to be able to do this thing, there would be a chunk of work to do that. But the biggest issue is just how sensitive it would be to being able to build something that just flat out didn't work and broke everything else on your character sheet, and the amount of frustration people would feel because they don't have my knowledge on how this all stacks up to be able to actually build that. So, you know, we not only need to be able to do something, we also need to build a very different interface to be able to actually allow people to build something and to build content on our site, not just classes, but subclasses, all of these other things in a much more sensible and modular manner. That is something that is on the, you know, on the roadmap for the future. I couldn't tell you when. I'm not part of those dev teams.
Again, neat stuff coming. I think we got time for one more question, Melly and Faith. Thank you so much for coming on and giving us a bit of your time today and chatting with everybody. Super appreciate it. And sort of Faith, like you said, as we were sort of planning this episode, talking about everything that goes into the compendiums is a big conversation. So I think this is a really great starting point to start talking about them, and then to continue bringing you on, bringing Elliot on to really start getting in depth about how that team works, everything that sort of goes in to getting a book in front of everyone on D&D Beyond, I think is a really kind of cool conversation to keep having. And again, to the audience, you know, every dev update isn't going to be a huge announcement, a huge new tool, a huge new feature. They're coming, dude. They're definitely coming. But I see this weekly show as an opportunity for you guys to get some real insight into, you know, the who, what, where, why, and how of the tool set. Meet the people responsible for putting it together. And hopefully these smaller bits really give you guys some insight to where we're going and why, and the philosophy of why we do what we do. I think that stuff's really valuable.
And also just a look at how passionate the people are that are making these tools and putting in this work. We're all people that play the game and love the game. And I love everybody being able to meet them and seeing that.
Without D&D Beyond, in my recent office session, I wouldn't have been able to witness Faith's druid summon a gorilla on a pirate ship. It was very exciting. Very, very exciting time. That said, one more question to go out on, Faith. This is from Dicey DM. What is your favorite 5th edition source that you've worked on?
Oh, wow. The favorite source is almost certainly, despite all the heartache it caused everybody, it's got to be Tasha's.
That's what I was wondering.
There's some really beautiful art in there, and I really like the theme of it. Very close second, Mythic Odysseys, because I got to play with some like really fun styling on there that they'd not done in any of the other books, and everybody was looking at it going, wait, how can we make this look like the, and I'm like this, already done it? And they're like, wow, that's amazing.
I was wondering about Tasha's, because as insane as that was on the team, you know, to have to scramble to I say scramble like you guys are an unorganized mess. You guys are a well-organized beehive of engineering and feats. But I mean, it was such a full court press and like and such a lift. But at the same time, it's like it's such a cool, massive influx of like new information, new rules, new outlooks, new subclasses. So that had to be fun.
Yeah, and I'm an overachiever and I like a challenge.
Well said. I mean, you and everybody else back there, I feel like. So a team of overachievers, which we really, really appreciate. Faith, thank you again so much for joining us. We'll have you back again real soon to chat with everybody. Hey, thank you guys for watching. Candlekeep Mysteries on sale now at the D&D Beyond Marketplace. And then if you're watching this in the future on YouTube, leave us your questions in the comments. There are links in the description for Candlekeep Mysteries. And we'll see you guys next week on the next dev update. Thank you so much.